Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your support of this legislation. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Small Business Administration oversaw what's been described as, quote, the biggest fraud in a generation, doling out more than $200 billion to scammers, foreign crime rings, and others who took advantage of a pandemic to enrich themselves. According to the Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz, the SBA invited this fraud by failing to implement basic safeguards to ensure taxpayer funds were going to the right people. Some of the pandemic aid even went to people involved in transnational crime organizations. When government mandates forced small businesses to close their doors, some resulting in permanent closures, fraudsters were out taking expensive vacations, buying Lamborghinis, mansions, private jets, horses, luxury jewelry, and more, all at the taxpayer's dime. While we work to recover the stolen funds, those criminals must be identified and prosecuted. The Small Business Administration not only failed to implement safeguards to prevent fraud of this scope, but they also failed to comply with the law originally authorizing the aid, which required that the agency include an easily accessible link for the public to report suspected fraud. Instead, the SBA has ignored legal requirements and made it incredibly difficult to report fraud. As my colleagues and I highlighted during a hearing last year, if you were even able to locate the SBA's link to report fraudulent COVID-19 loans, which were buried in their website, where did it take you? As our chairman noted, it took you to a different website that was written entirely in Spanish. The Republican-led Small Business Committee has created a direct link for Americans to easily report pandemic fraud, and the Small Business Administration must do the same. I urge my colleagues to support our bipartisan legislation to make it easier to report pandemic fraud, and I yield back.